Instagram is what Facebook used to be.
Yes. So in its infancy, when Facebook was only available to college students, when I was a college student, it used to just be like all fun all the time. It's like, how much fun are you having? And like, I wish I was you, or can I be your friend right now? And those types of pictures didn't have any type of limitation. There wasn't any censorship, except, you had to have a .edu email address. And then from there, they began to monetize it, and things became more censored. But in its most basic form, there isn't more than just pictures. And so, Facebook now exists at a much different level, and it's complex. It has many different arms and many different goals. There's games, there's a marketplace, there's just your familial aspect of things. And there's an older crowd that's involved with it, so you're not really reaching everyone. I think it's a much older generation because younger users are definitely on TikTok and Snapchat, in my opinion. And that leads us to Facebook's acquisition of Instagram. It was considered, I believe, a big threat to Facebook in a lot of ways because of its simplicity and its lack of monetization. So Facebook definitely wanted to absorb that. That's just my opinion of watching it change. And when I look through what Instagram is, I think it's very simple. It's simple and it's accessible, and it's like all those pictures, it's like sharing a photo album. And that photo album is your brand. If there's any essential, quintessential aspect I want to talk about is you need to know what your brand is. And if you don't know what it is, your customers definitely won't know what it is.
Yeah.
So many people use Instagram for a look what I did or a conspicuous consumption aspect, and that's fine because it's whatever you want it to be. You can share a photo album of whatever you want. It could be your pet. Actually, I even see people's pets have Instagram. It's like the dog's name. I think there's one of my friends named the dog's named Freddie, and Freddie has his own dog Instagram.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And so that's what's the brand going to be? Pictures of the dog. Some people love that. It's not going to upset anybody just to see pictures of him doing silly stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is a good point to jump in and ask you about your brand identity. What is your brand? What are you working on? Yeah, tell us about it.
So my brand is called the Fab Lab. And the Fab Lab is a business in which I create things for people. And the main core of the business is digital fabrication and graphics design service. And I would say my main thing is a service, and the service is teaching people things. So not many businesses will teach people how to do things, but I have a lot of patience. And for the same price of creating a product for somebody that they conceive of with robotic machinery, I can teach them how to use their own machinery. So sometimes people buy machines that are in the tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they don't know how to use these machines. The training on it is usually upwards of $1,000 per day, but my hook is I'll do it for half price. So I'll train you for $500 a day on your own machine, and I will make a YouTube video lesson for you on how to do what you want to do to make a certain program, and then I'll even program the machine so that you could have like a video professor that's tailored to you, and then you can go on your own and just watch the video over and over again. A lot of people don't want to be recorded, but I don't feel that there is value in hiding the transparency of information. I feel like the more transparency you have, the more people want to work with you and feel like you have the authoritative quality to share your knowledge. And if they can show that to other people and other people can scrutinize it, and it withstands other people's scrutiny that they feel are subject matter experts, and I feel like that will only increase your validity. Also, the videos that I make are on my YouTube channel, so that those videos belong to me, and I will not take them away from the person. They're for public consumption, and I feel like there is some value in that for public people to be having access to these videos that weren't necessarily made for them, but they do consume the content, and they do boost my YouTube page ranking, not to a point of monetization, but it does give people the opportunity to watch the interview more often and the lecture more often, and for them to go through at their own speed, or for them to train new employees on that machinery. Sometimes I do create products for people, but that is not my business model. My business model is definitely is an educational model where I create knowledge and share that knowledge with people through either video or through a large person training. I think the largest training that I've done was for Cabrillo's engineering department. There was at least 50 people from the engineering department there. There was the head, there was full-time professors, there was students there also, and it was like a 3D printing demonstration that they wanted done. And you have to address everybody's questions at all the different levels. And so I think it's definitely an educational business. Although some people want products, that's really not my goal, is to sell a product or one or two of a product. My goal would be to sell a computer program that makes hundreds, if not thousands, of that product for the person on their own machine. And I wouldn't be running their machine. I would teach them to run their machine or make a video that they would then play for their employees, and their employees step by step, click by click, could know nothing and then run their machine without me being there.
Yeah. So your business is business to business.
Yes.
And our textbook talks a lot about Facebook and LinkedIn being the hubs for business to business marketing, but you've successfully leveraged Instagram for the same means. Can you tell us the advantage that Instagram gives you in business to business marketing?
Easily, it's the best way for other businesses to talk about you in real time. And when I make a post about a business, most likely it is a business that's already featured me in a story. Very quickly, if you don't know what a story is a video that's featured on your Instagram. It's a stolen feature from Snapchat. It's a way that you create a video montage that mixes itself together, and that usually if I do something significant for a business, they'll tag me and feature me in their business story. And so that I actually take and I pin it to my story, so I can grab that and put it to my story. And that is like the modern version of an introduction that the business owner is speaking to me and saying, like, I did this for them, and then not only did I do it for them, but here is me, and other people can access me. Like, Instagram is very open, so then people can DM me and ask me for the same type of service that another person is receiving, and I get that a lot. They say, I saw you did X project for somebody, and X is whatever, maybe a laser project, and that's mostly what I get. And they're like, oh, I want you to do another laser project for me. And I'm like, okay, well, this is my rate, and then we'll talk about that, and I'll do a quote for them. But when the very prominent business features me, somebody who has hundreds if not thousands of followers, then it's like them giving me a personal recommendation, and then other businesses contact me based on that personal recommendation. and I reach people I never thought I would reach because I'm featured on somebody else's Instagram post or Instagram story.
So how has your Instagram page worked with or even replaced your personal website?
Personal website. I used to sell websites. I know CSS, cascading style scripts. I know about HTML. I've done different designs for different people, sold different websites, but ultimately a website is dated as soon as it's created. So you want something fresh, something that is dynamic, and Instagram does represent that in a very picture-oriented way. And so I have 7 domains. All of the domains are www.thefablab.something. And so it's like .net is my most prominent high-level domain. And then I have like .mx for Mexico. I have .co. I have .me. And I can't remember all of the ones. I think I have .info. And so you create a group of websites that all have the same name but different suffix. And then you can use something called a pointer. So the domain host, I use NewTek out of Arizona. And they bundle them. So I bundle all the websites, all the domains, and then they all point to my Instagram. And if there was a better modality to reach my customers, then I would point it to something else. So that's my how I replaced my web design and my upkeep of my website with Instagram completely. But if there was something else, I would move over to that seamlessly by just calling the calling the host and telling the host to rewrite a script that is embedded in their servers, and then it would point to, let's just say something antiquated that it's not relevant anymore, like MySpace. I'm like, oh, I want it to point to my MySpace, and then they would point all those domains to my MySpace, and if that was the new hot thing, then I would get those hits and those views. So whatever comes next after Instagram will be instantly accessible for me, and I'll be able to just switch gears very quickly. But I won't have any type of maintenance fee, or I won't be paying anybody, or I won't be wasting any of my time when I could be servicing customers. Instead, I could just be focusing on the business.
Has this also replaced or enhanced your resume or portfolio?
I consider this a modern resume or portfolio because it's real time, and then other people who don't necessarily know me, they'll see me featured on a business owner's page, and mostly I'm working with business owners, and they'll contact, DM the business owner personally, and they have a relationship with the business owner, and then they'll say, hey, I saw you did blah blah blah, somebody did this for you, and how are they to work with? And then they might ask like what my rate is. My rate's very transparent. I have like a set price point per hour depending on the type of work that I'm doing. So graphics design is different than laser work, is different than CNC work, is different than design work. And then if people want to own the files themselves, there's a different price. And then you definitely want to have a menu as a business. And so I am like, okay, I have these 5 things that I'm mainly selling, so I have these 5 prices, unless there's a custom price. Okay, that could be a one-off, but you want to keep those consistent because your customers could be talking amongst themselves and they want to know like, oh, why does this person get a better deal? You know, my answer would be like, oh, this person's gotten 5 jobs from me, and you know, they've given me a lot of business and promoted me on not only their website but on you know, at their location. So when we talk about what the price difference may be, I'm not uncomfortable saying there might be a 20% price difference between returning customers and new customers. I don't feel like that's disrespectful in any way. I feel it just shows your returning customers that they are valued, and that you really want to keep those customers. You don't want them going somewhere else. So giving them a better rate, I feel, is essential to remaining relevant and keeping your transparent menu pricing.
Some of my students have asked about, I have this online presence, how do I monetize it? What would you tell them?
It depends on what your brand is. So my brand is professional, it's about education, and it's about videos, and it's about knowledge. So if somebody wants those things in some type of order, then I can sell them something. But if it's not in those realms, then I say I'm not the person for you to be working with. I'm not going to compete on price. And so that's something that not everybody can say, but you need to know who you are. So number one, what is your brand? And number two, be true to your brand. Even if it's not popular, you have to be yourself, because there's certain people that they only want to work with you because you have realness. And so I believe Instagram has a lot of realness because of the people that are involved. And then somebody's going to give me a shout out by name, by my handle, my @ the Fab Lab, _Fab_Lab on Instagram. And so when they give me a real shout out, then they are saying, you, the person, have my endorsement, and other people get that impression that you're trustworthy. You can accept money, you can accept payments, that they won't regret working with you, and the other person's reputation is on the line for recommending you. So I feel like there's some emotional collateral that's going on between the people who are recommending you and the people who want to work with you. And you have to feel each other out. The new clients and we try to come to an understanding. So monetization is, you're interested in a product. Is it a product I sell? If it's not a product I sell, I'll tell them where to go or recommend somebody else I know for it. If it is a product I sell, then I schedule a meeting, and then I'll take my sketchbook and my computer, and then maybe I will even do a design with them over the course of an hour to 3 hours. I think the longest first meeting I had was 2 hours, and they actually wanted me to start work immediately. And I don't mind getting to work immediately. So I just show up ready to work, and your work ethic will really determine whether you're going to get paid on anything. So you set some firm boundaries, like this is my rate, and usually I give a free estimate, but after the free estimate, it's like, okay, so if you're going to be paying me for this 10 hours of work, and there's, let's say, $200 of materials involved in the project that they want, I'm like, write me a check for $200. I'm going to buy the materials so we both have skin in the game, and I'm going to get started on it. My portfolio on Instagram is over 1,000 projects, 1,000 pictures, and once I finally hit 1,000 pictures, I just tell people, I don't know what you want, but I want you to look through my pictures, and I want you to tell me if you see anything that you like. The nuance of explaining the difference of one project to another project is just not relevant. The phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words, is so true. And so they will scroll through my profile, and they'll see literally over 1,000 pictures, and then they'll say, oh, I want this. I want something that looks like this, or if this and this had a baby, mash them up. Could we do that? And then that starts the real conversation about what it's going to cost.
Cool. Well, final question. Do you see any alternative or anything on the horizon that might replace Instagram for you?
No, not for me in a business sense. TikTok's too whimsical, but it is replacing Instagram in a youthful targeting aspect, and I do see a lot of reposts. Reposting is where you have a TikTok video that all of a sudden is captured on Instagram and then gets a lot of hits or views or whatever, likes, and then that is not really made for Instagram. It's actually made for a different media. So as much as Instagram stories try to compete with Snapchat, they really don't. And the newest video platform for short video formats is TikTok, and then their Instagram isn't competing with TikTok either. They're just recycling, or the users are just recycling TikTok content, and there's a watermark for all the TikTok content that's on Instagram, which is significant. I don't see anything that is going to replace that soon, but if something were to replace that, and something were to get a lot of hype or interest in a business sense, then I would immediately try to get that brand name, the Fab Lab, for that new medium, and I would just sit on it. So I thought that Twitter might be a modality for me, and then I have a Twitter that didn't end up manifesting into anything for my business, and you just have to be aware that something will eventually replace Instagram, and that's where the domains come in. The domains do cost some money. I think they cost probably like $200 to $300 in fees per year, and then that's just to keep them in my name, and then the host per month is like, I think it's like $6 per month. So then I'm hedging my bet against one brand or one company through me owning my own domains that are the Fab Lab. And I know in the future, if I want to switch gears to whatever that new thing is, I could do that with a phone call, and then that would be online in 24 hours, and it would not go to my Instagram anymore, go to something else, and I begin to switch directions, spend more time on that new modality, and use that instead.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for this interview.
Oh, sure. Happy to give the interview.